Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Naughty Dog Reviews. Before I get started on talking about this game, I just want to quickly mention that this review will be a lot shorter than usual, and it won't be structured like the rest, since The Lost Legacy is just a standalone expansion. Just think of it as an extension to the Uncharted 4 review, because that's pretty much what this game is anyways. So Uncharted The Lost Legacy was originally supposed to be a DLC for Uncharted 4, but eventually Naughty Dog decided they had higher ambitions for it. This led to it being its own separate release, but at a lower cost of $40 since it's a shorter experience than the main titles. This is the only Uncharted game that I hadn't got around to playing until now for this review. To be honest, I've never really had a desire to, I just don't really get excited about spin-offs. To my surprise though, I actually had a pretty great time with this game. Now for anybody who's played through Uncharted 4, there's not much new here that will surprise you. Personally, I pretty much expected that since it was originally just going to be DLC, but I still think that it's worth pointing out. While it didn't change things a lot, there are some things here that make this game stand out among the rest. The first thing I noticed when starting this game was just how amazing the environments look. The war-torn streets of this Indian city really felt and looked disgusting because of all the dense detail that was put into it. Of course, I shouldn't be surprised by this at this point since Naughty Dog is constantly outdoing themselves when it comes to the look of their games. Aside from the improved detail, the levels and environments are pretty much the same, however, this game has one of the best levels in the entire Uncharted series. Chapter 4, The Western Ghats, is an open level that's even bigger and better than the two from Uncharted 4. It's pretty much an entire adventure on its own, with tons of encounters to find, secret areas to explore, and even an entire side quest that rewards you with a treasure detector. This is by far the largest chapter in the game, and can take up about a third of the game's overall playtime if you properly explore it. Aside from that level though, the rest of the game's chapters are pretty standard Uncharted stuff. That also goes for this game's story, which is certainly entertaining, but also very similar to previous games in the series. Lost Legacy's two main characters are Chloe Fraser from Uncharted 2, and Nadine Ross from Uncharted 4. Chloe is after a valuable treasure, and it just so happens that a warmonger and his army are also after it. Don't get me wrong, I actually like the villain in this game, but it doesn't take too long to realize that he's basically a carbon copy of Lazarevich from Uncharted 2. Chloe works really well as the protagonist though, and has a pretty fun dynamic with Nadine. These two don't even really like each other throughout most of the game, and it's interesting to see them start to bond as the game goes on. Nadine really needed this sort of character development since she wasn't really explored much in Uncharted 4. To add to that, Sam Drake ends up joining the party for the last few chapters, which I'm really happy about since it shows us what he got up to after Uncharted 4. He also adds a bit of tension between Chloe and Nadine since Nadine hates the Drake brothers and Chloe included one of them in their journey without telling her. It's fun to see Sam try to win Nadine over after all of their conflict in the last game. While most of this game is really standard Uncharted stuff, the puzzles here have been given more focus than usual. The puzzles in Uncharted have never really been all that challenging. At the very least, they were enough to make me feel smart when I solved them. This game, however, offers quite a bit of unique and challenging puzzles that actually make you have to sit and think about how to solve them. Unfortunately, there were a lot of these dial puzzles that are pretty much the same thing, but aside from that, they're all unique and fun to solve. Now, I really don't have much else to say about this game. I told you it wouldn't be very long, but again, just think of this as being part of the Uncharted 4 review. The Lost Legacy, while nothing really new, does a great job at expanding on the Uncharted universe, and I personally would love more side stories like this in the future. I give Uncharted The Lost Legacy an 8 out of 10. So before I end this, I want to point out that the next review will be the finale of the Naughty Dog reviews. I'll be going over Naughty Dog's newest and most controversial game, The Last of Us Part 2. I'll also be joined by a special guest, so stay tuned for that as well. If you enjoyed this video, I ask that you please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you next time on the finale of the Naughty Dog reviews. Until then, stay safe and I'll see you next time.